Hey everyone, it's Chaz here, and this video is the top 11 ways to make your citations great again with some live examples. We know, as you know, a couple years ago, citations, the more you built, that's all it took to rank in the map pack, right? And then we saw less and less impact from building citations, to the point now where sometimes you build citations, you have zero impact. It's like, why even build them, right? Well, so this video is all about how to make your citations have more impact in 2019 and beyond. Our method, is designed to work into the future. It's future-proof. And they still work when you build them correctly. So that's where we're going to start. First step is building better citations. Now, these 3 points are pretty basic. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on them. I want to get into the better stuff in a minute, but let's not forget the foundation. It starts with you build them as well as the campaign budget allows. Okay, we found that when you completely fill out your business listing, adding media, and then also unique content, adding unique business descriptions definitely does influence the index ratio of the citations. But getting good content when you're building citations at scale, you might need 10,000 to 15,000 words of content. Becomes expensive. But if it's in the budget, definitely look into unique content, because that is definitely a way we found to increase indexation. And we know that indexation is the first hurdle you have to get your citations past. You have to get them indexed, right? Once you get them indexed, then you talk about what else can you do to power them up and make sure that you get basically recognition, or they get assigned to your entity in Google, right? Your citations need to be assigned to your entity in order for you to basically get credit for those as brand docs, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. But one thing that will help you index even better is if you have certain citations that require you to do phone verification or SMS verification. A lot of times, if you don't do that, those profiles will not index. It's like the platform says, if you're not going to take the time to show me that you're a real account, we're not going to index this profile on our platform for you. Chiefly, a lot of new Yelps, we're seeing that, depending on how they're built, they're going right into the no index status until you claim them. There's some other ones out there like this as well. So obviously claiming them, again, very basic thing to do, but this is a step that a lot of people just forget about or forget to build into their SOPs. Some of your top level stuff does need phone verified, and if you don't do it, they're probably not going to index in Google, and they're not going to count towards your brand documents or help influence your prominence score at all. Thus, they're worthless if you don't do that. So the next thing we got to talk about briefly when talking about building better citations is that understanding that certain citation profiles are set as indexable and certain are set as no indexable by the platform themselves, right? By the directory. So some directories, really big directories, like usually the big telephone directories tend to be like this, where a lot of times they'll set your profile as no index because they want to index their directory search page or their directory category page, not individual profiles. And that goes into things like, for them, if they have a very, very large directory, they need to conserve crawl budget. And one way to do that is simply not indexing the profiles, right? And also consider that a lot of these profiles are probably just considered duplicate content because they're profiles that are on Yelp and every other directory too. So they're not really valuable to Google. So a lot of times these really big directories, like a lot of these older, bigger telephone directories and those type, you will see this then. This is common, so understand the 80-20, right? If the directory is indexing their search pages, boost the search page if you're positioned well. Don't waste time on the profile if it's non-indexed. You know, like when we build, we try to build mostly profiles that are indexable, but there's some directories that are super valuable of getting on, like their search pages. Angie's List is one that we build that I can give you off the top of my head. That is, the profile is never going to index, but if you boost that profile, you get it internally, that can get you on Angie's List then search page, and that does actually show up organically and can then basically count towards your brand document. Sorry about that, I tongue-tied there for a second. But so understanding those three basics are important. I don't want to spend a lot of time on these. I'm not even going to show examples of these because these are kind of basic things. Let me show you really quick one way that I'm using just quickly to show you indexation. So I'll open a profile, and then I'll use something like link redirect trace, and you can easily check if it's indexed by Googlebot or not. You can see this does not block Googlebot, but it's also a claimed Yelp. So that's an easy way to start checking things, is using this free Chrome extension. Other than that, we're going to move on to the next section now, because we got some really good stuff to cover, and you saw the tabs that I have open, I think. So this whole section it's going to help you index stubborn citations. It's going to help you keep citation indexed, and it's going to help Google easily assign the citations to your entity so that you're sure that you're getting credit for your brand docs that you build, for your citations and your brand mentions. And just a quick note throughout this video, if you hear me talk about brand docs, I'm literally just talking about brand mentions. It's just another name for your citations, for your branded profiles. And this video is all about citations, so they're interchangeable in that meaning. So, but that's what this section's all about. So the first thing we're going to talk about, YouTube video description. Oops, sorry, I just jumped out of my reading view. That's weird. There we go. Not sure what happened there. Let me just forward it. There we go. Sorry about that. YouTube video description. Let's go check it out quick. YouTube video description. I add my brand to the bottom of a YouTube video description. This is locally optimized video. You can see I have my NAP. You can see I have my naked URL to my site that's located. I even link to my GMB. I'm making sure that I'm adding some keywords. My phone number, again, a part of my NAP is in the title. And then I made sure that Google crawled this by throwing this link in a GMB post after it was published. So make sure you do that part. Don't neglect that last part, or this won't help you. But this is helpful to do, and it's very simple to do. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm going to jump right past that. Add citations to enter your brand page on the website. Again, this helps interconnect your brand. I'm going to show you that right here. This is just a demo site we use for a lot of local demo stuff. But here's their about page. Talks about the company. And then here it is, again, linking their entire brand. And again, I'm using a lot. You're going to see when I link to this stuff, I'm using a lot of brand heavy anchor, right? You see it here. You'll see it later on as well. But this is one way, having a brand page or an entity page on your site. It definitely won't hurt your site at all. Obviously, you don't want to put this on your main location page. Use an inner page for it. And then what you can do with this as well, this page can become a target for your link building, and you can start powering stuff up this way. Because remember, the authority of all this stuff also helps in local SEO. So the authority of your brand is very helpful. So use this strategy if you can. It definitely seems to make an impact on our citations when we can do this. The next thing, again, it's very easy to do. Doesn't take a lot of time or effort to do that, and it's very easy to add to an SOP. The next thing, same as schema. If you're not doing it, you should be. Here's, I'm not going to spend much time, but here it is. Here's our schema on this sample site. We're just adding our citations here, and sometimes top social profiles, organizations we belong to, whatever. We're adding it to same as, sorry, not organizations we belong to. That's down here, but this is our same as branded profile, branded profiles. So make sure you add that there. If you don't know how to use schema, like that's something, you know, I'm not going to get into. You should be using it. We have on the Web20 site, we have a nice, let me just go here and show you. Under resources, we have a local schema tool. I don't want to jump off track too much, but this is really cool. If you have a verified GMB, which you probably are if you're watching this video, figuring out how to use the citations for local SEO better. If you have a verified GMB with a storefront or a hybrid with a visible address, you can use this, and it's going to pull in a really good schema for you. Has your same as right in here. Your same as would go right here. You would just put them one per line right here. And it'll pull in a really nice schema for you. Definitely check that out if it works for you. It's really a cool, quick way to create schemas for your sites. All right, add your citation and brand profiles to the content of the GMB site. It helps you establish your documents for your entity, but also helps get them indexed. All this stuff does that too, but this is another way you can do this. Google likes to crawl the GMB site. Here's our demo, and you can see at the very bottom here, I did add that in here, and they do like to crawl this stuff and get these things indexed that way. So again, this, okay, one last thing. I don't have an example of this because my post actually got ripped down earlier, and I didn't recreate one. GMB posts, use those to index your stuff. It's hard to do at bulk unless you're scheduling them out like with Local Viking. But what I found is when I put a link in a GMB post, if it's indexable, it's going to index almost immediately once I publish the GMB post. Time and time again. Now I don't get spammy with it. I just, I add other content to it. But I do add some of my stuff, my links into them, and it's near instant indexing. And if you're using something like Local Viking, you could definitely, bulk post, and in each one of your posts in the content, just add a naked URL link to a citation, one citation. And again, if you're scheduling in bulk, you could link out to a ton of your branded citations. This stuff helps interlink everything, helps make sure you get your documents or your citations basically assigned to your correct entity, and their weight goes towards your local prominence score. So pretty cool things there. Hopefully this section was pretty enlightening, and you got some actionable stuff out of this. I use these tactics all the time to help not only get indexed brand properties indexed, keep them indexed, time into my entity. Works very, very well. I mean, when I do stuff like this, I can take, like this local demo site that we're just doing as a demo, but when you do a branded search, like the brand is very, very, very strong. And that's super important because that is creating the power and the authority of the entity, is influencing local map pack rankings. I mean, entity is a thing for GMB now. So doing this stuff is very good to build the brand and build the entity, and it does reflect in your GMB. But we're not done. We have one final section, and this is boosting the citation authority, and I'm going to give you three ways I do that. Affordable ways, right? We're not talking about boosting your website or building the backlinks to your money site, right? These are citations. We're talking about your Yelps and your business raters and your Better Business Bureau profiles and stuff like that. The more that websites link to your branded profiles, the more that helps your prominence too. That is a factor that Google looks at and weighs in assigning local prominence to your business. So it's basically, if they assume it's very similar to the concept of websites, right? More websites linked to your website's more popular. Take that to the brand. More sites are linking and talking about your brand in general, whether it's your site, your GMB site, your Google Stack, whatever it is. The more that more things that are linking to that, they're assuming the more popular your brand is. And that does make sense, right? It does make sense. It's worked for them well in organic, and it works in local too. It's not the only factor they look at, obviously. It's one factor. But boosting your citation authority doesn't need to be expensive to do. The first way I do is using just Web 2 type of blog tiered links, right? These aren't high authority links. These are just Web 2 stuff. They're pulling, just basically generated content, but they're creating enough, but each one of them, even though they're not high authority, they have a little bit of authority. And because we're targeting profiles like Yelp or a Google site, and we're not super spammy, right? We're not sending 10,000 of these things. We're dripping them out over a month. Those type of sites, those type of parasites and barnacle properties can definitely can take this tactic very well, and it's a very effective tactic to boost the authority of these things affordably. We offer it as an add-on. You could use stuff like Money Robot, SEO, Autopilot. Any of that stuff's going to work when you do it. You do have to know what you're doing, look into it when you do it, because you can burn them. But when you do this correctly, it's a very effective way to build that authority of these high authority citations. The next one, actually, let's show an example of that one. I want to show you what it looks like. So here's our citation power up, and this is how I do it. Everybody might do theirs a little different, but at Web 20, this is how we do it. What I like to do when I'm doing this, I like to target our do follows, right? So here's a list of some of our good do follows that we're seeing really good results pushing through, and we'll grab a couple of those that we build, and we're going to target those with some local keywords. We're going to make sure they have NAP in them. Now we're not going to hit the website. Remember, these are going to be targeting these are tiered links to your other tier 1 properties, right? So we're targeting Gust, Business Radar, Brown Book, Community Walk, and City Squares with this one. And you can see we built a bunch of niche blogs for it, and we also built a bunch of city blogs for it. So again, this is something you can do. Again, drip these out over a period of time, index them over a period of time, go heavy generic on the anchors, just very light keywords, and this is a perfectly effective method to boost the profile of a Yelp, or you can see the things we're boosting with it. Specifically in this was a Gust, a Business Radar, and it works very effectively, right? It works very, very effectively. And you can see just what one of these look like. I just want to show you, again, these are very affordable, but when you do them, make sure you include some local relevancy stuff. So we have a local map, we have a geotagged image, we have the NAP section. Again, you have the naked URL, but it's unlinked, right? You make sure it's unlinked, and then you just have some local content. You interlink them. When you just click, it just links out to your profiles. That's all there is to it. You don't have to overthink this stuff. It works. It's very effective. Just wanted to show a quick example of that. Let's go back here. Next thing I like to do are affordable budget links, just private network links. These are real. These are budget PBNs. They have a decent trust flow, citation flow, decent metrics. They're general. They're very affordable yet, but they still pack a good punch when you're using them to target things like this. And you can see, I'm going to show you the exact anchor text we're using when we do them, and I do them in stages as well. So let me talk to you about what I do with these. So, because this is one of my main tactics. So I pepper them quickly with, you know, some of the do follow ones when we first build them, like I showed you here. And then I come back through and I pick them. And I pick my targets wisely. I go into search and I find out what's indexing good for the brand, and that's what I'm going to start building first. So I grab all these branded properties and then I do a round of branded. See how heavy on the brand? So this is the brand name, right? This is the brand name right here. That's the brand name. You can see how heavy. So if I'm adding something to it, I'm adding its brand plus, but so super heavy on the brand. And I build the links to these. And I'm hitting all my top branded properties here, right? So that's what I'm doing my first round, and then I'll come back and I'll do a second round, an even bigger round, as more and more stuff index. Now this, I included a bunch of other stuff just because I hit so many of them. But you can see some of the other things I'm doing is also building out the other brand mentions. That's what this is too. But you can still see I'm hitting out. Here's a Lineable. Here's a Yelp. So here again, I'm going heavy on brand. But this round I do include some keywords, but I don't include locations with these. I'm using more just niche keywords, if that makes sense, right? So I'm powering up. First I power it up with the brand name. Then I come back in a second time and I power up with niche keywords, right? Stuff works for me very, very effectively. Super great results that I see doing this. And again, these are still affordable. These type of budget links. I mean, we sell them on Web20 for, I don't know, as low as like, I don't know, if you buy them in like the packs of 20 or 30, they're like $6 or $7 a piece, I think. So they're very affordable. You can get them other places affordable as well. But this doesn't have to be expensive to have a super good impact on your business. Or on the GMB that we're working on. So, and then the final way I'm going to talk to you about today, this video is starting to push on to probably about 25 minutes. I want to wrap it up here, but I do want it to be a good, solid video packed with good stuff. So I want to talk to you about this. Another affordable way to power things up is using a do follow news. Basically, it's just a do follow press release. We can get 4 links inside of this. And these are very super authoritative sites. I mean, these things are very, very authoritative. Let me just show you it. So here's our do follow release. Here's the release. I'm just going to show you what it actually looks like. So here's one of these releases. And you can see here's the anchor text. And this one's linking out to my GMB site, which is a branded property. Not necessarily a traditional citation, but it's still a branded doc. So you can see I'm linking there, and it's do follow. Here I'm linking to my Yelp with, again, I'm going branded to my Yelp. Here I'm going to an inner blog post on my website. And then finally I'm getting my my nap in here, and then just going naked to my home page or my location page. This, and you can see how, again, it's how relevant it is, has the embed, has the nap. Doing something like this is, again, a very affordable way to power up these links with a lot of power. Like, these things are very authoritative. Some of these are like subdomains, but some of these are really, like, let me just show you one of these. Let me show you this one. I'm going to pause this and open up Ahrefs. I'll be right back once I get Ahrefs up. I'm just going to show you this domain that you're getting these links from. I mean, these things are very, very powerful. So give me a second to get Ahrefs up, and I'll be right back. So I'm back. I got Ahrefs open through this domain, and you can see the type of domain this is, the referring domains that these things have. These things pack a punch, okay? These definitely do pack a punch. Definitely one of my newer tactics we're using and getting good results with. But these 3 ways are the way we're boosting the authority of the citation. And again, just to close this video out, that's important because not only do you gotta get them indexed, because then they get, once they're indexed, they're awarded to your brand. Then the next thing is Google looks at the backlink authority or the authority of your entire branded network, not just your website when it comes to local. So keep that in mind. And that's why we boost our citations. So, and they can have a good effect organically if you do it correctly. It can have some effect on your organics positively as well. But I'm going to close that video now. Let me know if you have any questions about these 11 ways you can make your citations great again, and really have another impact. You can use citations for your local SEO and see an impact in your rankings again. So thanks for watching. I'm Chaz. If you have any questions, let me know.